What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. And today we have NFL Week 5 score predictions going on. We're starting to get to the time of the season. We're starting to come into the middle of the season, and we're starting to get a feel of who teams really are. The sloppy play is going to start ending, and the teams who are for real are going to start coming out and playing like they should. So, socials are there. Twitter, Instagram. Don't forget the Discord. There's a Discord link in the About Me. Go to the channel description. Under that, links. Join the Discord. A lot going on there. We do Hot Take Tuesdays. You'd love to be into those if you enjoy these. So don't forget to subscribe, like, put the post notification bell on YouTube as well. So not waste too much time. Let's get into our first matchup. So it's a London game. You have the New York Giants playing the Green Bay Packers. So the Packers are favored by 8. And let's just say this, that Daniel Jones and the Giants quarterback situation is really iffy. Daniel Jones is kind of going to have to play. Otherwise, there's really going to be issues. But I think Daniel Jones will play. I think he's going to play. I don't think the Giants are going to score a lot whether he plays or not. I don't think there's really going to be a difference. Even though, they have a lot of weapons. They have a good running game, but the offensive line is not going to be able to hold up against the Packers. D front, you have Rashawn Gary, has been very good, very underrated player in my opinion. He's going to tear up that Giants D line. There's a lot of Kenny Clark. The Packers front is going to be way too much for the Giants offensive line. Not going to be much room for Barkley. Maybe Jones pops off a few runs here and there, and that's where they get a touchdown. And then maybe they run the ball a little bit. Maybe the touchdown is garbage time. Maybe the first 2 field goals are early on in the game. The last touchdown is garbage time. But I have the Packers in this one, 30-13. I don't think the Giants are going to have a problem with the Packers. Even though they've played okay football this year, much better than they usually do. But the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, I think they're just going to be too much for this Giants team. The Giants do have a decent defense, but with them not being able to get anything going, not be able to get first downs, drives going, I don't think they're going to be able to keep that defense off the field and keep it fresh. Not going to happen. So I'm going to take the Packers 30-13. The spread at 8. I'll take it. Just because of Packers' offense and the Giants' inability to really probably put up points this week, especially if Jones isn't even 100% either. They have good weapons. They did until a lot of them get injured. Kenny Galladay isn't really what he was expected to be here. Kadarius Toney has made a huge impact, but he's hurt. You have Sterling Shepard, who's hurt. I'm taking the Packers, and I'm going to take the spread. So this is kind of my surprise for this week. I'm taking the Chicago Bears to beat the Minnesota Vikings, who are favored by 7 points. And it gets really loud in that Minnesota stadium. No, it's not even Minnesota. But my thing is, I'm taking the Bears because the Bears have won a lot of close games. They have a similar record, and they can run the ball. Vikings can't really stop the run, so I'm going to take the Bears to upset the Vikings this week, 24-20. Kirk Cousins is going to make a few mistakes. Bears going to be able to run the ball, chew that clock, not give them much time. So when you have mistakes, when your offense has mistakes, and you have a offense on the other side of the field, it's very difficult to game plan for Justin Fields, David Montgomery. They're going to be able to keep the Vikings off the field, and Kirk Cousins makes a mistake that's going to bring even more time off the clock for the Vikings offense to be able to do anything. So. And I think the Bears defense is going to do just enough. Dalvin Cook hasn't been running wild. He's been okay. But I'm taking the Chicago Bears on my upset of the week over the Minnesota Vikings. Then on the next game, you have the Los Angeles Chargers are at home versus the Cleveland Browns. So you have Herbert, Brissett, whose offense you can trust more. You're going to trust the Chargers offense, even though Keenan Allen's out. You have Mike Williams. You have Justin Herbert. Going to take them over the Cleveland Browns, but the matchup points to the Cleveland Browns here big time because you have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Chargers' run defense is not really all that great, so I could see a situation where the Browns come out, they just pound the ball, and they go 7-0 early. Maybe the Chargers make a mistake, and then maybe the Browns could just keep running the ball, and it's going to make it very difficult for the Chargers to make a comeback or to do anything because the Browns, if they can just chew the clock, run the clock, then it's going to be very difficult for the Chargers to really have time to come back in the game. So I'm taking the Chargers 31-24 because I think the offense is just going to be more reliable than Jacoby Brissett and the Browns offense. Even though the Browns could run it, they could come out, run it. They could take the time of possession and just kill it. But I'm just going to trust this Chargers offense more. I feel like the Browns aren't going to be able to make those passing plays, a few passing plays that they're going to need to make. Playing a team like the Chargers, you're still going to have to be able to make some good passing plays, maybe on third and longs, maybe on second and long, make it a little shorter for third down. Maybe you need to convert a fourth and it's a little longer. Who are you going to take in that situation? Justin Herbert and the Chargers, even though there's no Keenan. Eckler's been the same. I'm going to take the Chargers this one, 31-24. The spread, I wouldn't touch the spread on this one because it could go either way. As I mentioned, the Browns pound the ball. Chargers don't have a good run defense. The Chargers can pound that ball, and that could be the big difference. But not going to touch the spread because it could really go either way. It's just a tough game to predict. Speaking of tough games to predict, you have the Detroit Lions and the New England Patriots. This may be one of the hardest games to predict of the year because, the Lions have really good offense. They can score points, but they have injuries like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Swift. Are they going to be 100% if they do play? So Patriots are favored by 3. Probably because of injuries, but I'm going to take the Patriots 27-23. Now, if Mac Jones doesn't play, I may switch the pick to the Lions, and I would update that on my Twitter, so if you are interested in seeing that, I switch a lot of my picks on Twitter. I update on there. Sometimes I'll post it, but I'll most likely do it on Twitter. But the reason why I'm taking the Patriots is because I think that defense is going to be able to limit that Lions offense a little bit. It's going to be a really good game. It's going to be a tough game to predict, as I said. But I think the Patriots are going to be able to run the ball really well. And kind of similar to what I talked about with the Browns and the Chargers, now Ramondre Stevenson and the other back that they have, nothing like those, nothing like Chubb and Hunt, but enough to chew the clock, take the time off for this Lions offense, which may not be the same without some other weapons. And I'm going to take the Patriots to beat the Lions. The Lions, their defense, one of the worst in the league. So this could be an offensive breakout for the Patriots, and I think that's going to be the difference. I think the Patriots are going to score some points. Even without Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi looked solid last week versus a solid Packers defense. Now, there's not tape. Now, there's some tape out there. Maybe that's the difference. And this Patriots defense isn't a Bill Belichick defense. It's not what it usually is, but it's still going to be enough. I think they're going to score enough points. They're going to score enough points. They're going to get it figured out just fine. So, taking the New England Patriots, 27-23. This is another one. Would not touch the spread. Would not touch it. Then you have the Seattle Seahawks at home versus the New Orleans Saints. This is another weird one. The spread is weird. It's all pointing to the Saints. The Saints, it's a really good matchup for the Saints. The Saints should win this. They play good defense. Will Marcus may be back. I think that's going to be a decent factor as well, something to think about. But Saints have a good defensive line. Going to have Geno Smith running around a lot. It's a tough game to predict. It really is. Geno Smith, if he has a good game, it's going to be difficult, but that Saints defense is so good. Very good defense. It's going to be difficult for Smith and co to really get something going. I don't know if they will. The running game, Rashad Penny, they've been a physical team, and it has worked, but I don't think that physicality is going to be able to be enough to beat the Saints. You're going to have to be able to throw the ball and make some big-time plays. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, definitely capable of doing such, but I think that Saints defense is going to be too much. And now, if Jameis Winston is out, I may switch my pick to the Seahawks because that's a big one. But I think it was leaning towards maybe playing. I'm not sure, but either way, this one could go. I'm taking the New Orleans Saints, 27-21. Then you have the Miami Dolphins heading to MetLife, playing the New York Giants. Gonna be an interesting game because the Dolphins have a lot of injuries. You have Tua is not going to play. Xavier Howard is questionable. Tyreek Hill is questionable. Jalen Waddle is questionable. Now, if Tyreek Hill or Waddle is out, one of the two are out, Dolphins have a good chance. Because the Dolphins, they could, Teddy Bridgewater. The reason why I have it at 26 is because if both of those guys are in, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek, Teddy Bridgewater just has to get the ball to the guys. And Wilson, and Cedric Wilson. Right, Mostert. You just have to get the ball to these guys. Don't make guys miss in the open field. Teddy Bridgewater is a good game manager. He can get the ball there. He does that. Both of those guys are in. I don't see the Dolphins having any issue. Now the red zone offense may be a little difficult. Tyreek is a good red zone receiver. Waddle is as well. You have Gesicki. He's iffy. But Teddy Bridgewater in the red zone, I don't think so. I think that's where he's going to struggle. But the matchup of the day is, where the Dolphins match up really well versus Jets, even without Howard and is a defense. That kind of defense they play is they're one of the best man blitzing. They throw some zone in there once in a while. They have one of the most creative and best defenses out there. It's just a lot of fun to watch, and they get a lot of turnovers. They sack the quarterback, and I don't think Zach Wilson's going to be able to handle it. Whether it's, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Zach Wilson this weekend. I don't think it's going to be Honda. I don't know, if Xavier Howard's out, interesting to see how the Jets offense is going to play, even though the defensive line and the front seven will get there. Will the secondary be able to hold up just long enough? Now, defensive front, usually they make the job a lot easier on the secondaries, but if Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis get open quick, Zach Wilson could have a day. If Xavier Howard is out, this offense could have a day for the Jets. You have Michael Carter, and I don't think they're going to run the ball well because of the reasons I mentioned about the Dolphins' front being so good. Don't forget about the New York Giants' offensive line, though. It's underrated, nothing special, but it gets the job done. So, gonna take the Miami Dolphins 26-27. It's hard to trust the spread. It's hard to go with the spread when there's so many injuries. You don't know who. But if Tyreek and Waddle are playing, I'd take the spread. I'd take the chance. And the defense might hold up even more if Xavier Howard plays. Xavier Howard left their last game. I think they should rest him. I think they should rest some guys, but I think they're going to play him. And they all play, maybe not 100%, but probably just enough to get past the Jets. Even though the Jets, I'm not trying to say the Jets are bad. Jets are sneaky. I even said before the season the Jets are going to be a sneaky team, and they have been. So watch out in this game. Watch out. Then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, the Falcons have been sneaky this year. They've had a lot of close games. Should have won a game or two earlier in the season. But Falcons aren't looking terrible. It is just a crappy matchup. I wouldn't take the 8.5 spread because I think Atlanta could keep it close. It could be one of those games where they go back and forth. Buccaneers, I think this is a game where they get going. They've struggled, but I think this is a game where they get going, and the defense plays well. Not a good matchup for the Falcons offense. A lot of play action. Buccaneers won't have any issue with that. Falcons offensive line isn't great. Buccaneers defensive front is great. No Cordell Patterson. So it's a tough matchup for the Falcons. I'm gonna take the Bucs 27-13. I know I said not to take the spread because the Falcons might keep it close. But if the Bucs have a good day, I could see them winning by more than 9. But it's risky because I think the Falcons have kept a lot of games close. They've been okay in close situations. They've kept a lot of games close, but I think Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are going to be a little too much for them to keep it close. All right. Then you have this matchup, the Tennessee Titans and the Washington Commanders. Very interesting matchup because the Titans have a way to losing to teams that they should definitely beat. The Commanders aren't looking good on either side of the ball. I can see the Titans really getting up early like they did last week, and then Washington coming and scoring a few touchdowns late, but it's not going to be enough because Derrick Henry, once the Titans get up, they're going to be able to run the ball with Derrick Henry because Washington's front is not going to be able to stop Derrick Henry that well. Derrick Henry's going to run that clock. It's going to be a little too late for the Washington Commanders to finish the comeback and, ultimately win the game. Now I can see a situation where Carson Wentz is having enough time. The deep threat could, the deep threat offense could be good. They get a few deep passes off. Curtis Samuel. You have Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin. I think Jahan Dotson is questionable whether he plays or not. I think that's going to factor into it as well. Gibson's a good back. I just don't think it's going to be enough to beat Tennessee. I think Washington's going to go down early. Tennessee's going to take it. Spread, wouldn't touch it. Just a weird game. I wouldn't touch it. Then you have the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you may be wondering, why have this game so close? The Texans have had some explosive plays at times, and they have kept games close. They kept it close with the Chargers. They ultimately lost, and a few weeks back, the Jaguars absolutely put a beating on the Chargers. It's a divisional game. I think it's going to be a close game. Closer game than people think. The Jaguars are favored by 7. It's going to be a close game. I think the Jaguars will pull it out. Will do just enough on offense and defense. But I think it's going to be a little closer of a game than people think. I'm taking the Jaguars 27-24. All right, this may be a game. This may be a score prediction that you're not expecting. So I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys over the Los Angeles Rams, as you see. 2017. I don't think it's gonna be a very high scoring game. You got Cooper Rush, and you have a really good Cowboys defense who can limit anyone. Reason why I'm taking the Cowboys is because that Cowboys front is phenomenal. Now, Kupp could open quick, make some big plays there. Jefferson is a talented wide receiver. But I think this Cowboys defense is going to be too much for Matthew Stafford. Stafford hasn't looked right. I've said since the beginning of the season that tendonitis is going to catch up with them. And the fatigue is going to set in. We're going to see how that goes this week. I think this is a week where it starts to affect them even more. He has Kupp. The Rams' offensive line has been absolutely terrible. Andrew Whitworth really held that offensive line together last year. This year, don't have Andrew Whitworth, don't have that savvy vet presence. And look what's happening. The offensive line is not good, not giving Matthew Stafford enough time at all. So I think Matthew Stafford is going to make some mistakes. I think he throws a pick six, fumbles. I think the Cowboys defense gets a defensive score. And I think that's ultimately the difference in this game. Cooper Rush, I think the Rams are going to take him down to earth this week. Cooper Rush has looked great. He's looked great. I think they're going to take him down to earth this week. But I think the Cowboys defense, once again, is going to bail them out. The defensive touchdown, taking the Dallas Cowboys 20-17 over the Los Angeles Rams, and I wouldn't take the 5.5 because it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a low-scoring game probably. I wouldn't touch the 5.5. Then you have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals. So this is a very bad matchup for the Cardinals. Let's just get that straight. This is terrible matchup. Terrible matchup for the Arizona Cardinals. So the Cardinals offense has not been great. It has been very lackluster. Kyler Murray could maybe make a few plays on the ground, score a few touchdowns there, maybe score a garbage time touchdown. Defense for the Cardinals hasn't been great. That spells a recipe for disaster versus the Philadelphia Eagles, who have been a solid football team. An above solid football team. A very good football team. They're undefeated, man. 35-20 of the Philadelphia Eagles. I would take the Eagles in the -5. I would take the Eagles. I think the Eagles will beat them by more than 5. But some people do think that this could be a trap game for the Eagles. But I just don't think, the matchup is too good for the Eagles for them not to win this. They can run the ball, throw the ball. You have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Creative offense. I don't see the Cardinals beating the Eagles this week. Taking the Eagles 35-20. Then you have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football. So the Cincinnati Bengals have carved up the Ravens in the past. Joe Burrow, Chase, Boyd, Higgins, Mixon. Offense has just torched this Ravens defense. Now, that's one of the big reasons why the Ravens are looking at this game. One of the big reasons why they changed the zone. They're trying to get used to a new defensive scheme. I respect that. Not a lot of teams change a scheme. A lot of times they're stubborn. They stick to their ways, but they changed. I think looking back to those Bengals games might be one of the main reasons. This is a game. This is one of the main reasons why they did that. But thing is, that Ravens front is going to get to Burrow. Okay? The Ravens front is going to get to Burrow, and that's what has given the Bengals such a hard time. But I think Burrow can get just enough time, call some short plays, chase the ball. I think the defense will do just enough versus Lamar and co. Taking the Baltimore Ravens to beat, or I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals to beat the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Then you have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders, Monday Night Football. So the thing is with this game is the Chiefs are just on a roll, man. Offense, killing it. Except for the Colts, a little weird there why they didn't, how do they lose the Colts? But I have the Chiefs winning 38-28 because I don't think this Raiders team is going to keep up. I don't think this Raiders defense is going to be able to do much against Patrick Mahomes. I think they're going to struggle. I don't think the offense is going to be able to do enough. Defense is going to struggle. Offense not going to do enough. The Chiefs' run defense is better than people think. It's okay. And it's going to give Josh Jacobs and the Raiders front some problems because the Raiders' offense line not very good. I think Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the Chiefs' defense do enough to get past the Raiders on Monday Night Football. So I actually looks like I lost a game. I don't know where the Niners and the Panthers game is. But talk about it real quick. Niners and Panthers. I'm going to take the Niners. Let's go 27-6. I don't think that the Carolina Panthers are going to be able to score enough points. One of the worst offenses versus one of the best defenses. The Carolina Panthers, Baker Mayfield, maybe, they throw deep and, they hit on a deep pass with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson for 1 touchdown. But I don't see it. I'm very confident in the 49ers taking on the Carolina Panthers and not having an issue. So I'm taking the Carolina Panthers. No, I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers, and that's that. I don't think that's going to be much of an issue for the Niners to go out, take care of business versus a very bad Panthers offense. And then, the Niners offense having Jimmy G, having Kittle, Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. It's going to be, even though that Panthers defense is solid, very underrated unit, but it's not going to be enough. The defense is going to be tired. The offense is going to be 3-and-out. Taking the San Francisco 49ers over the Carolina Panthers. I'm sorry about that. I didn't have the graphic on here. I thought I made it. I guess not, but I don't see the Panthers beating the Niners at all. So those are my predictions for the week. So thank you for tuning into the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. Hope you did enjoy this week, and let me know your thoughts. Are these bad predictions? What do you disagree with? Do you think I am crazy for taking